Hello everyone, you're welcome to my channel. And today's video, we are going to carry out a beginner guide to Adobe Photoshop. Either you are looking forward to use Adobe Photoshop to create amazing or stunning graphics, or you want to use it to edit pictures, this is the right video for you. Either you're a beginner or a pro. Make sure you watch this video to the very end, as we're going to unpack a lot of things. If you are seeing me for the first time, my name is Abbas, and on this channel, we do everything media. So let's get into the video. Hit the subscribe button and smash that bell. Let's get creative. So now we've launched our Adobe Photoshop. And when you launch your Adobe Photoshop, the first thing you see on your screen is this window you are seeing right now, which is the welcome window as I usually call it. And all these other things you are seeing here like this, they are called the previous work that I have done. So they are recent work that I've done. So you can actually uh, continue with them, or you can easily uh, create a new document. But for the sake of this video, I'll be starting with a new document so that you can actually uh, know how to use it. So when you launch your Photoshop for the first time, you're going to start with what's new. On top of it here, you see different uh, menus here, which under it you have other commands that you can give to Photoshop. This one is the file menu, the edit menu, the image menu, layer menu, and all of that, even the filter menu, 3D and all of that. So in the course of this course, we are going to discuss all these different kind of command that we have under this menu that you are seeing here. But for today's video, let's get into it. I'm going to start by clicking on new file. So when you click on new file, you are going to choose the size of what you want to design if you are creating a design. So we'll do this, and then I'm going to show you how you can bring in picture once you launch your Adobe Photoshop as a beginner, even if you don't want to create graphics. But this part now is for people that want to use it to create graphics. So on top of it here, you see recently. These are recent custom size I have used. You can see them here. If you want to use any of it, you can just simply click on it, and then it will take you into it. Then this one is saved. If you have saved any dimension, any kind of measurement in Photoshop that you would like to use, this is where you can see them. But for me, I did not save anyone. Then photos. Here it will give you different type of photo size, whether portrait 7 by 5 inches, 3 by 2 inches, 6 by 4 inches. Then maybe if what you want to do is something of that size and it's a picture, you can easily choose from each of these things. But then if you don't have any size that uh is among this one, if maybe the size you want to do is not among the ones they have kept here, you can easily change it at this place and put your own preferred choice. Then this is print. For people that are into print media, or you want to create graphics for printing, here you see different type of papers. We have the letter paper, the lega paper, the tabloid, A4 paper, A6, A5, A3, and B5. People that are into graphic designer knows more about this paper that are all here, so you can choose them. Art and illustration. So these are different types of canvas that you can also use to create your art card. Maybe you want to draw something or illustrate something or anything that you want to do. So these are them. But if you don't have, if the one you want to do is not among these, like I said earlier, you can easily change it here. So that is that. Then we have web. Maybe you want to create design for maybe UI UX design or something that you want to use for website. You understand? This is the place you can choose different type of screen, laptop screen and all of that, desktop HD design and all of that, MacBook Pro if it's actually for web. Then this mobile, this is where you choose a design for phone. If you want to design something on phone, different type of phone, iPhone X, iPhone Plus, iPhone 8, iPad, and all of that. So you choose the design. Even for watch, if the design you want to do is for Apple Watch, you can see you want to design something, maybe you want to print something on Apple Watch or something. So these are film and videos. You know you edit video with Photoshop too. You can edit video on Photoshop, but then this is not what we are here to do. But I'm just showing you now that this place you can choose different type of dimension for your design. The purpose of this screen is to enable you, is to guide you to choose the right dimension for your design. Depends on what you want to do. So let's go into today's video. So let me go to print and just choose the normal A5 size. So this is A5. I choose A5 here. then I can easily come here to change. If I want to make it A5 landscape, I can change this place to A5 landscape. But if I want to make it portrait, I will leave it like this. Then this is the resolution. You can leave the resolution at 300, which is the recommended industry standard. So the resolution at 300 is perfect. Then the unit of measurement is pixel and inches. Then the color mode, you can choose RGB. If you like, you change it to CYMK. But for the sake of this tutorial, we'll leave it at RGB because RGB is the best for anything screen. You want to do design that is for um, screen online and all of that, is best to use. Even if it's direct image printing you want to do, RGB is still good. But if you want to do all this computer to plate kind of printing, or all this impression kind of printing and all of that, I recommend that you use a CYMK so that it can give you a more deeper color in your color profile. That said, then if you take your measurement, for instance, maybe something you want to do is a custom size and you actually want to customize the design. Maybe what you use to take your measurement is uh, is calibrated in inches or is calibrated in centimeter. You can easily come and change it, the unit of measurement here, so the one you use to do your measurement, and you can then input your sizes based on the length and breadth of what you've measured. That is the function of this place you are seeing here. So once you set your dimension, you can name your design from here if you want, or your canvas from here. I can name this one tutorial, and then that's it. So if I want to save now, it will come with this tutorial that I used to name it automatically. And then it's on 8-bit. If you want to make it 16-bit, it's left for you to decide. But then it's okay at 8-bit. So then this place that you have white, you can decide to make this place transparent. You can decide to change the background color to black, transparent. It means you don't want it to have any color once you open your canvas. But for this course, we'll leave it at white, and then we are going to leave every other thing as it is, and then you click on create. So this is our A5 size uh, artboard or canvas, like they usually call it. So now we are in Photoshop environment, and this is how it looks. So on this left hand side where you see here, there are your tools. You know, if you are a mechanic, you use spanner and all other things to do your work. So this is where you have all your tools, your spanner, your working equipment. This is where you have them, and this is the most part of where we are going to be doing a lot of things today. I'm going to show you the functions of all these things in this video. Then in the next video, we'll continue from where we stop, because Photoshop is so elaborate, it's so big that you cannot cover it all at once. So in this video, we are going to do part of it, and then I will drop another video again to continue from where we stop. We'll continue like this until we get more advanced. So if you are just starting up with Photoshop, make sure you follow me as I drop each series of this tutorial, because trust me, we cannot cover everything in this video. So let's continue. So now that we are here, I would like to show you first. This place is your big tool. You use it to move things around. Let me say, for example, I I have uh I have a text here. Let me type this thing, just anything. So now, before I could move it, I have to drop this text. If you can see the way my mouse pointer is looking at. So for me to drop, I click on this place and I drop it. Then my mouse pointer return to normal. I can now move this thing about. So that is the function of that button. The next one is the marquee button, the marquee tool. This marquee tool is used to select a given part of your design. Let's take, for example, I can select this place like this. You see that? Can select anywhere, and the function is not far-fetched. Let me say, let me bring in an image. Okay, I have an image here. Let me get this image here. So let's say, for example, I have this image here and I want to select only the head. I can use this marquee tool here to select only this part that I want. So once I select it like this, I can easily Control J to duplicate it, and then let me break this UI here so that you can see that it's only that part I select. So this is the function of it. You can use the marquee tool to select part of your image where you want to use. So I think that is clear. So under the marquee to have another one, which is a circular one or an oval one. You right click on it. Whenever you are on this and you see this little drop down arrow here on the side, it means there are other options in that particular place. So when you right click here, you are going to see the remaining other options that are inside, which is this elliptical marquee tool. This one is for circle, rounded. So let me bring that image up again and then try to select it roundly. So you click and drag to the point you want, like this, and then you press Ctrl J to duplicate it. Do you get? So that's it. So let me off the main image of this. Hold on. Okay, I made a mistake. Ctrl Z, I was not on the image that I selected. So this is the main image. Make sure on your layer you are always on the main object that you want to work with. So now that I'm on it like this, I can easily use my arrow button to balance it like this, and then I'll press Ctrl J now. So look at that. Can you see that? So it's quite easy, right? So this is how Photoshop magic look like. So that is the function of this marquee tool, the rectangular marquee tool and the elliptical marquee tool. This is what they do. So the next one we are going to look at is the lasso tool. Yes, the first one you are seeing here is the polygonal lasso tool, and this polygonal lasso tool, it has another one under it. If you can see, like I said, there is a drop down arrow here. If you right click on it, you are going to see different types of lasso tool. Then we have the lasso tool itself, the polygonal lasso tool, and they function differently. Though they do the same work, but different in different way. So let's see how we can use it with this our image. So now if I choose the polygonal lasso tool and I click any part of this image, you can see it remain with me like this. Then I can now use it to trace, 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 trace. For example, this is not the perfect tracing, right? You can use it to trace like this, but then this is just an example of what it does. Now see the part I trace. So if I do this and I delete, be on the main image and press delete, you see that the background has been deleted. I press Ctrl D to deselect, and this is it. So now if I go on and off this my white background viewer, you see that that place is now transparent. There is no background on it any longer. So that is the function of that, and that is how you can use the polygonal lasso tool. But then let me undo. Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, and then Ctrl D to deselect. So now let's check the other type of lasso tool, the main lasso tool. This is it. Now the difference between this lasso tool and the polygonal lasso tool is that this one, when you click, you hold it down and then drag towards the part you want. But the other one, you can just click. Even if you don't hold it down, you can now be moving and be clicking bit by bit. So let me illustrate. Let me demonstrate this. Now I have clicked and then I hold down. I begin to draw it. Just like you drawing a line, you get. So let me quickly, oh, mistake, Ctrl Z. So let me quickly hover around this image like this. Do you see that? So let me press Ctrl 0. Let's try and do it, at least get close to perfection, even if we cannot be perfect because of time. So let's assume there are many people in this image and you just want to pick this person out of it. And just select the part that the person is, and here you just press Ctrl J. So when you press Ctrl J, let's see what it does. You see that it has select. This is the only part we selected, and that is how it functions. That is the function of the lasso tool. So as it is, you can just simply press select subject, and then Boom, it has selected the subject, and then you can easily press Ctrl J and then off this one, and you see that your image background has been removed totally. So that is the function of that, and it's quite easy, right? Quite easy. So the next tool I'll be showing you in this video now is called the quick selection tool. Yes, quick selection tool. Okay, let me toggle on this image and take it upward. So now the quick selection tool, this is the function. Now if I click on the quick selection tool, my mouse will change like this. You can see the size. You can use the bracket button, this bracket, this type of bracket. You can use it. Now let me select the image out of the background, just like this. You can see how the quick selection to work. Now it has selected only the image, and then if it's not perfect, you can reduce the size by using the open bracket, this type of bracket you are seeing now. Then you now select it like this, click like this, and then it's perfect. So if you do this, you can simply Ctrl J. You have your image, and then break the eye of this one like this, and then the background has been removed. So that is the function of quick selection, right? It's sweet, right? Quite amazing, right? All right. So just, if you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please kindly subscribe to this channel. We have a lot to unfold. You know, once you subscribe and you hit the like and you drop a comment for me, it will encourage me to do more video, and it will make me to be very, very happy. Please do well to subscribe, hit the like button, and comment. You can even comment what you don't understand. I will do a video to address it. Trust me, I will. Thank you. So under the quick selection tool, there's another one. You right click again and you see the wand tool, the magic wand tool. Click on this magic wand tool. Let's see how the magic wand tool work. Okay, let me activate my image. This one. Then maybe this is the color I want to shoot to pick. The magic wand tool is just like recognizing a particular color in the whole image, and then it will select all that color wherever they are. So let me click on this part and see what the magic wand tool can do. So you click on it, you can see it has selected anywhere that color is in the background in the image, and then you can easily do whatever you want to do. Either you want to delete the color and make your image background transparent, it's not left for you. If you delete like this, you're on that image. I think this is the one we're on. Press delete, and then the color, the background color will go. Control D. So that's it. For this video not to be too long or too prolonged, I'm going to stop at this level, so that in the next video we can continue with other tools, which is the crop tool, the eyedropper tool, and all other tools, so that you can know how they work and use them perfectly. If you learn anything from this video, even as a beginner, please encourage me. Do well to subscribe. Hit the like button. What are you waiting for? Come on, go ahead. Subscribe. Thank you. I'll see you in another video as we continue with our Photoshop journey. Thank you.